In today's news, Vaccinate to Participate program launched by government agencies.
Deadline extended for boards and membership applications.
We also see BVI Queens set to depart this Friday to represent the territory on the international stage in California.
And the government seeks assistance of employees in the assessing of the impact of COVID-19 on the BVI's workforce. All this and so much more when 284 News returns.
The win.
What in the hell?
I'm freaking out.
Is about these people.
It's always a pleasure coming to you live and direct from the
What's poppin'? What's really good?
Davis has won it for the Lakers.
A warm Wednesday night. Welcome to one and all. Thank you so much for joining us on this Wednesday, June 16, 2021, for another edition of 284 News. My name is Javon Wilson.
And I'm Ron Grant. It is always a pleasure coming to you live and direct, bringing you the latest happenings. Beginning on the local scene here in the BVI, charter companies and hoteliers are reportedly recording increased traffic in tourists during what is usually known to be a slow period in the year. This is according to Leader of Government Business, the Honorable Andrew Foy, Premier of the Virgin Islands, who made the statement during a live broadcast on the morning of Tuesday, June 15th. The Premier was updating the territory on some of the latest developments involving the territory's tourism industry. Take a look.
As early as last month, May 2021, charter boat companies and other stakeholders were reporting that bookings are on the rise and that some operators are already booked solid for several months ahead. Companies in the charter boat industry have reported that this month, which traditionally is not a busy month, is the busiest they have had since the reopening. Some properties and charter companies are contemplating remaining open when they would normally close due to slow business because of the increased demand. The ferry companies are appealing for us to increase the maximum number of passengers that could sail into the BVI through the USVI. This is something we continue to work on with our USVI counterparts because the decision has to work for both the BVI and the USVI.
Now, viewers, Foy, who is also the Minister of Tourism, revealed that at least one hotel in the British Virgin Islands reported an occupancy rate of 60% in April. He said he expects much more positive news as his government continues to listen to the relevant stakeholders to make the necessary adjustment. Listen in.
In this process of continuous development and continuous improvement, we have listened to the feedback from the public and our visitors. As gaps and areas for improvement were detected, we listened and we took the necessary action. As persons made suggestions for how we could improve the convenience and the ease of doing business, we took this into consideration along with the many other factors that we had to watch when making decisions.
Despite the many initial criticisms during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in the territory, Premier Foy believes the territory's present COVID-19 status, along with the increased traffic of persons into the BVI, is evident. His government made the right decision. Jovan, I know many persons across the territory are very happy to hear of these statistics. We continue to see photos from Anegada to Jos Van Dyke of boats flocking our waters, and I think this is a positive step in the right direction, and we continue to wish the industry and its stakeholders the very best as we reopen.
You know, Ron, one of the things I really want to highlight about our tourism product is the fact that it is beautiful and certainly a robust product. I think when we are to examine the numbers, one of the things we begin to identify is the fact that a lot of the tourists coming into the territory are actually returnees, persons who would have visited the BVI, really experienced the product, and is so impressed by it. And we are grateful and really privileged to be in a position where we have a resilient product. And, you know, pandemic come, pandemic go, natural disasters in and out. People are still coming. And I think, again, it's really testament to the type of product that we have here, and we should be very proud of. But also, people have so many other destinations that they can frequent. And despite the earlier protocols that we have seen, which were pretty strict in the beginning, we do see persons still in a hurry to get back to our beautiful BVI. So a good look. As we continue on in an effort to boost vaccinations among the tourism stakeholders in the cruise industry, government agencies and cruise tourism sector partners have collaborated to create a Vaccinate to Participate program. Now, this is according to a media release from the BVI Ports Authority on Wednesday, that is today, of course, June 16th, which said that the program is aimed at complementing the government's COVID-19 vaccination rollout and, of course, to encourage industry staff to get vaccinated. The statement said, and I quote, promoting a positive vaccination message, creating awareness of the benefits of vaccination, and encouraging persons who work in the cruise tourism sector to get the vaccine is the goal of the Vaccinate to Participate program. It is designed to ensure a healthy return to the cruise for the territory. Now, here is the Director of Tourism, Mr. Clive McCoy, commented on the importance of the program, stating that the territory must meet cruise industry standards, of course, to safely resume the sector as it prepares for its first fully vaccinated passenger cruise ship. He said, and I quote, "We're encouraging all frontline tourism workers, such as tour guides, tour operators, taxi drivers, as well as hospitality workers to get vaccinated." Now, commenting on the situation as well was the Managing Director of the BVI Ports Authority, Mrs. Olivine Maynard, who also speaking to the initiative, said that she believes the objectives can be achieved to have as many persons vaccinated as possible. She said, and I quote, "Going back to the pre-pandemic cruise levels is an objective for the BVI Ports Authority. We want all local businesses to have the opportunity to participate in this industry, and therefore we need to get vaccinated. It is as simple as that. I trust that we can and we will manage together," she stated. There is the Chief Executive Officer of the Cyril B. Romney Tortola Pier Park, Mr. Vance Lewis, also shared similar sentiments to his counterparts. He said a collective effort from all stakeholders is necessary for the healthy resumption of cruises in the BVI. Ron, when we think about the cruise ship industry, certainly a sector that we depend on. Yes. Our tourism sector is completely dependent on, as it relates to not just tourists, but the tourist revenue that is generated. The BVI has really been brought to a halt as it relates to the tourism industry. I do know that right now, I think governments across the globe are really pushing for fully vaccinated cruise ships only to enter into their ports. Just recently, we too were expecting a cruise ship that was supposed to be yesterday, I believe, June 15th. However, that was, according to the Premier, postponed because of a COVID spread on board. But we're hoping that this initiative, Vaccinate to Participate, being launched by the various government agencies, could catch on, and hopefully a healthy bounce back we'll see soon.
Most definitely. Viewers, still ahead, late submissions to Register of Interest declaration is linked to the absence of an orientation for newly elected House of Assembly members. And of course, the deadline extended for boards and membership applications continues. We're going to have the details of this and so much more after a word from our sponsors. You're watching 284 News.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, the late submission of the Register of Interests declaration by at least one first-time legislator has been linked to the absence of an orientation process upon taking office. This was the sentiment shared by Junior Minister for Tourism, Honorable Ashari De Castro, when she appeared before the Commission of Inquiry on Monday, June 14th. Our Kamal Haynes reports.
The Register of Interest Act 2006 ultimately requires members of the House of Assembly to publicly declare their financial assets to avoid conflict of interest while executing their legislative or ministerial duties. According to the Act, elected members are required to submit their declaration upon the date of taking office and on each anniversary of that said date. The Act also allows for a submission of the declaration within 3 months of the deadline date and states that submissions outside the 3 months are in breach of the Act, which warrants a written report by the registrar and the possibility of facing other penalties. During the Castro's hearing, the COI's attorney Bilal Rarat revealed that the junior minister, after taking office on March 12, 2019, failed to submit her first register of interest declaration on that date. In fact, he stated the declaration was submitted nearly 4 months after the deadline on July 10, 2019. The attorney also noted that the Castro submitted her 2020 declaration after the deadline, but said her 2021 declaration was submitted on time. When asked whether she accepted that she was in breach of the Act for her 2019 submission, the Castro admitted to the breach, but she explained that it was due to her inexperience as a new elected member, coupled with the absence of an official orientation to bring awareness of such requirements.
So would you accept that by being 4 months out from your date, you were in fact in breach of the Register of Interest Act 2006?
I do, and permit me to explain that as a newly elected member of the government, it was a steep learning curve, and without formal orientation to the position. Subsequently, I was through the notifications from the registrar in reminding me, I subsequently did take due consideration to visit her office to be fully informed and briefed as to what is expected of me. And on that date, I did fill out my declaration and submitted it.
Attorney Rurat then questioned the junior minister on whose responsibility it is to provide newly elected members with orientation. She replied the following.
My assumption would be, as a newly elected member, that the House of Assembly would have, in some form or fashion, introduced workshops to members to familiarize them with the processes and structures and responsibilities therein. And that was not the case. So I was, as a new member, being newly accustomed to the role, basically adjusting to this new responsibility.
The Castro also stated that she has been advocating for an orientation in the BVI for newly elected members ever since taking office.
Yes, I have been making representations that there was a need for orientation, and it was further cemented by my subsequent participation in the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association programs and seminars through the region and internationally. Subsequently, I was also a guest speaker at 2 or more new member parliamentary proceedings for the Anguilla House of Assembly and the Grenada House of Assembly. So that is why previously I referenced that it is customary that when a new House of Assembly is installed, that it is practiced through the region, that perhaps through the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association, or even potentially just through the House of Assembly of that specific land, that there are new member workshops so that members could be apprised of their responsibility.
The Castro said her work did see results, as the territory welcomed its first workshop from the Commonwealth Parliamentary Association for new members this week, after more than 2 years since taking office. Kamal Haynes reporting for 284 News.
So on there, we saw Honorable Shari de Castro really speaking to the fact and really admitting to as well her breach in failing to declare the Register of Interest, of course, making that declaration very late. And I think this has been the sentiment echoed across the board. But what she is saying is that as new House of Assembly members, they were not made aware, they were not brought up to speed or made afraid with the processes. And she's always been calling for workshops, of course, to bring House of Assembly members up to speed, because what you find over the last 2 days is a similar pattern. A lot of our representatives will find themselves in the same position, either failing to declare these interests or inputting incorrect information on these declaration forms. And so we want to ensure, like Honorable Shari de Castro says, yes, she is admitting to it, but I think this is why the COI is important. It's important for us to proof the system and our forms, our processes of these types of discrepancies so that as our legislators step into office, they're being guided by a structure that they cannot say, for example, we did not know
Yes.
or we did this incorrectly. It's going to always be a process of due diligence.
Well, Jovan, in the final analysis, I think this is definitely what the COI thus far, among many other issues, it has shown that there is a lack of training and protocol for our legislators, and I think someone has to look out for them. It is the responsibility of the House of Assembly to ensure, and I think moving forward, we should aim to do a much better job at making sure that they are prepped and prepared.
Absolutely.
Continuing on the local scene, the government of the Virgin Islands has extended its recruitment drive for persons to sit as members of various boards and commissions to June 25th. This is the first time that the roles are being actively advertised to, of course, attract, they say, a broad selection of candidates who will be interviewed and chosen based on merit, prior experience, and competence in the sector. Members of the boards and commissions in the Virgin Islands are appointed in order to consult on the proper running of the institution and are being sought for the BVI Airports Authority, BVI Ports Authority, Gambling, that's the Gaming and Betting Control Commission, and the Virgin Islands Trade Commission. Interested persons are advised that membership of the Prospect Reef Board that was previously advertised is on hold, and the public will be notified once a recruitment for membership of this board resumes. Now, current serving members in positions will be given the opportunity to apply. However, each candidate will be reviewed independently and on the basis of the same criteria to ensure fair process and transparency. Now, candidates have until June 25th, which we said earlier, to submit applications to apply. Qualified persons are asked to send their resume, CV to the Permanent Secretary in the Premier's office of the Cutlass Building, that's the second floor, Rotan, Tortola, British Virgin Islands, and that email address is premieroffice@gov.vg. Now, the government of the Virgin Islands continues to assess the impact of COVID-19 on businesses and employees and is requesting a detailed workforce assessment from employers in the territory of the Virgin Islands. Now, employers are to submit the assessment regarding the status of their business and employees to the Department of Labor and Workforce Development for the period of March 2020 to May 2021. Now, the assessment will be ongoing periodically, and the government anticipates full compliance from employers throughout this process. Failure to comply may result in work permit applications not being processed efficiently. Now, the workforce assessment form is available on the government's website, that's bvi.gov.vg, and completed assessments should be emailed to labor@gov.vg. Jovan, we see where our government of the Virgin Islands is essentially requesting some assistance from employers in regards to the statistics and how they've been coping, challenges, and a full assessment of their business as a result of COVID-19. And I think it's important that we continue to seek to have proper statistics so that we understand really the impact of the severity of the matter and how that has severely impacted businesses. I don't think we have a proper and full understanding.
And we need that because that's how we begin to navigate a way forward. I want to double back on the applications deadline being extended for board and membership applications. This is too another reason why the COI is being conducted. It was listed very clearly that one of the things we see with board questionable appointments at boards is the fact that, you know, we've seen appointment of family and friends, we've seen appointment of associates, and again, very questionable. And this is one of the reasoning behind the COI to ensure that in our final analysis that we are doing what is just, what is right. And we are also appointing persons who can pivot their way through on whatever boards they stand, whatever respective boards. So again, viewers, you are encouraged. I'm not sure if all of you guys know, but the COI is being streamed live every single day for this week. Many politicians, former and present, are being cross-examined. It's a very, very thorough inquiry. And so for your personal knowledge and, of course, keeping updated with what's going on in our territory, I would advise that you tune in whenever you can.
Viewers, up next, our BVI Beauty Ambassadors are off to California this Friday to represent the territory, and residents are urged to be aware of an increase in fish poisoning. We have the details of that, and of course, we're wishing the ladies the very best. All this and so much more after a word from our sponsors. You're watching 284 News.
Brilliant Hands and Minds tutoring services, one-on-one tutorials in math and English, intense homework assistance, academic enrichment, school projects, effective communication and public speaking development, sign language for adults and children on Saturdays only. Registered with the Virgin Islands High School Certificate Program, Brilliant Hands and Minds can help you too. Offering intense curriculum-based training to help you or your loved ones get their high school diploma. It's time to make your family's education a #1 priority. Hurry, space is limited. Brilliant Hands and Minds Learning Center. We are the trained education professionals. Gentlemen, aspiring gentlemen, and our partners that hold us down. It's season 2 of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, taking you on the most inspiring journey with the best and brightest distinguished gentlemen of the BVI. Raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men like you've never seen them before. Governor Augustus J.U. Jaspert, Jovan Klein, Neil Klein, and so much more. Turning modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen with yours truly, Ron Grant, a 284 Media production.
Viewers, welcome back to 284 News. Now, you guys know that we're always repping our BVI ambassadors, and so our first ever Mrs. Carvey BVI, Sophia Rubain, as well as Mrs. Classic BVI, Deborah Maddox. They're now both set and ready to depart the BVI on Friday to represent our territory at the international leg of the pageants in California. Now, just earlier today, we were able to catch up with Queen Sophia. And here's what she had to say regarding her journey thus far. Sophia, you are no stranger clearly to what we're doing here, but definitely as it relates to pageants, I know you were thrown into the boxing ring. No experience, and I know that has to be a little bit challenging. So I know a few months ago you were appointed as our very first Mrs. Curvey BVI. Just tell us, what has that experience been like for you so far?
Oh my gosh, it's been absolutely amazing. And if I didn't say crazy, I would be lying.
Yes, because be honest. You can be honest.
I can be honest. Good. It's been crazy, but it's an enjoyable thing to do. I am a single mother, so my schedule is already a little bit crazy. So to add on, my duties, it was a little challenging in the beginning, but now that I've, seasoned in a little bit, it's getting a little bit easy as I go along.
One of the things I want to really get into today is your category, Mrs. Curvey, because this is, of course, under the Win BVI umbrella. Yes. Win BVI, as you guys know, is an organization, a nonprofit for women in need, really supporting, just as it says, women in need in our community. And we'll get into that a little bit later on in the interview. But just this year, they were able to extend themselves. We do know them conventionally to host the Mrs. BVI Queen Show. But now Mrs. Curvey as well as Mrs. Classic, they were both added. What I love about your category in particular, Sophia, is how it really moves away from what we conventionally know pageants to be, which is a square box. You have to look a certain type of way. You have to sing a certain type of way. Right. And this category really is providing space for women, I think, of, like the title says, Miss Curvey. So speak to us about how do you feel about being able to represent in that category and what it means for other women who also falls into that category?
Well, for years, I've hosted many pageants in the BVI, bring live coverage of the events. And I would always look at these beautiful women on the stage. And I always say, well, my time gone. There's no, opportunity there for me. And again, you have to look a certain way. So to hear that there is a division just for curvy women, which is sizes 12 and up, I was absolutely thrilled because we have some beautiful women in the British Virgin Islands, curvy women, and we want the opportunity to display our talent, and represent our country as well. So I was very thrilled to hear that there was a division just for curvy women. And for me, it means a lot also because it means that I have accepted who I am. I have accepted that I'm different, but I'm still beautiful. Absolutely. So, that division is an absolute plus, and I hope other women, after my reign, other curvy women would decide to, step up and sign up and be a part of that.
That was the beautiful Mrs. Sophia Rubain, our Mrs. Curvy BVI. Now, Deborah Maddox, our Mrs. Classique BVI, will also be joining Sophia as they compete this Friday. Listening. I want to segue just a little bit. I know Miss Deborah Maddox. She is our Mrs. Classique BVI. She's also leaving with you on Friday. Couldn't make it today, but that's okay. We're still supporting her.
Taking one for the team.
Just tell us a little bit about Miss Maddox and how she's been coming along on her journey.
Well, Debbie, she's 63. She looks fantastic, and her
she
division.
does. You're going to see that video.
Yes,
shortly.
her division is Classique, I think, which is from ages 45 and up, and
Yes.
she's 63. She looks amazing. She champions health and living your best life. And I think she's been doing so wonderful. She no experience either in pageantry. So she's giving it her all. She's committed, and I'm excited for her just to see her transformation during modeling practices, et cetera, et cetera. I'm so excited for her. She's an absolute sweet soul. And I wish her all the best. And when I reach the age of 63, I hope I look that good. I can't even go to the gym and pump weights like she do.
Goals. Oh my gosh.
But yes, and I think she's a true representation of age after 50, and living your best life. And she's definitely an inspiration to me. And, I would like to walk in her footsteps when I reach to that age.
Now, viewers, as you heard, these women, both of them are the voices and faces of the organization, Win BVI, which, of course, is doing their utmost best to empower women within the community, women in need. So listen in how you can not only just support the queens in their reign and, of course, their journey to the crown, but also, by extension, the Win BVI organization.
Confident that the people are confident that I can carry that weight on my shoulders. And being number 2 for the choice of the people, I know my Virgin Islands people went out there and they voted for me because they are so confident in me.
Wow. Did you mention number 2?
Number 2.
Wow, that is incredible. Now, you just mentioned the people. How can the people support you?
Right. All right, so choice of the people, this is where you can go and vote for your choice of the people, and each vote is just $10. Now that $10 is donated to the Win Foundation, which again will help women in need globally. All right, so you can go on the Mrs. Globe website. I am Sophia Rubain, BVI. You're going to see big BVI there. And you just go, you click, you purchase your vote. We're asking for more than one vote, but again, we are very thankful for whatever you can give. But once I make it to number 1, I would automatically become a finalist in the competition.
Oh, I am so extremely proud and honored to have had the opportunity to sit down with our Mrs. Classique. Ron, this is the first time around the Win BVI umbrella has extended themselves two new divisions. We have the Miss Curvy BVI, which of course is Miss Sophia, and we also have Mrs. Classique BVI. Conventionally, we know them to have Mrs. BVI. Our current queen is Stephanie Bruley, and of course, for those who may know, we previously had Chandria Turnbull, who did so extremely well. Now Stephanie's going to go off, I think, in December, but for now, the first 2 up is Sophia as well as Deborah. They're leaving this Friday, and we really want to encourage and urge WADA BVI to support them, their journey. It's so very critical and important to them as they represent us in California.
Of course, Jovan, we want to wish our brothers and sisters over in the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis the very best. We know that there's quite an outbreak of COVID-19. As a result, they've issued a state of emergency and also on a lockdown. So as we traverse, we definitely know that this is a fluid situation, but we see where it's kind of caught, regions off guard once again, believe it or not. So we want to wish them the very best. Viewers, that is all the time we have, but we thank you so much for tuning in once again, 6 p.m. And we appreciate you tuning in every 6 p.m. To get your daily happenings, both locally, regionally, and internationally. I'm Ron Grant.
And my name is Javon Wilson. Of course, you can feel free to visit our website. That is 284media.com. There's so much that we can't cover within this 30-minute newscast. But of course, all that information is available to you via our website. We're also on Facebook at 284media and Instagram and Twitter at 284BVI. Do join us again tomorrow, same time, same place, 6 p.m. My name is Javon Wilson. Thanking you so much for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.